said he's ready.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Public hearing, let it be called to order. Would everybody stand for the invocation, please? Let's bow our heads. Oh, gracious Father, thank you for the day that you have given us, oh Lord. Oh Lord, we ask you, would you please continue to protect us and watch over us, oh Father God. Father God, bless all the constituents in the DeSoto Parish, oh Father God. Renew our hearts and mind, oh Lord, let us love one another. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Follow me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the public hearing. Any guests to public comments on the public hearing? Being none, item one, guests and public comments are protesting tax assessments with the DeSoto Parish tax assessor and Gordon are available for answering questions and protesting tax assessment addressed by the jurors as necessary. And that will be your public hearing. If anyone have any questions for the tax assessor, you're welcome to get in contact. Can I get a motion to adjourn public hearing? Got a motion by Mr. Rowe. Second by Mr. Parker. We adjourn public hearing. Okay, administrative committee, we're gonna call it to order, regular meeting, call it to order. We did the pledge and the invocation. Man, what is that? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, we're gonna move solid waste up forward. We have an emergency that we're gonna go ahead and take care of solid waste, please. Solid waste committee, please.
Call the solid waste committee to order. Call for any additions or deletions. Any guest or public comments? Hearing none. Solid waste items, discuss and take action regarding scrap metal at the landfill.
I move.
Yeah.
Have a motion and a second, so we can discuss.
Anybody else want to go first?
Mr. Chairman, I'll have to second that. I'd like to thank Ms. Burrell. Are you on that committee, Mr. Chairman? Are you on that committee?
Oh, no.
I'll second it.
We are talking about the remaining metal that's on the yard itself now?
No, sir.
Oh.
We talking about what we gonna do about what's owed to the parish for the scrap metal that was taken from the landfill since 2019. And I think we need to take action. This is nothing, certainly, that hadn't came up. We've been dealing with this for about 3-4 months now. And it's time to take some appropriate actions for it. Now, these are the tickets, y'all. Anybody want some copies? I'm sure they'll give them to you. But these are the tickets. Now, when discussing this, they were saying we didn't have grounds to stand on or whatever because we didn't have a contract. Well, it's the same contract that everybody else used, Milliams and everybody else that got scrap iron from at the landfill, which even if it was a verbal agreement hold just as much as weight as a contract. Now, you can't make me believe that this many tickets, this at least 100 tickets. First of all, I can't see them having this person to weigh in, coming in and weigh out, going out, if it was free. Can't nobody make me believe that they even thought it was free. They knew what they was doing. I know it wasn't free, but I know it was illegal to do it. And this jury needs to take some action because this man owed the taxpayer some money. And he need to pay up. I'm hearing stuff about they bragging about ain't nothing gonna happen to him or whatever. But that ain't nobody's decision but us. These 11 people sitting around this room. And me, myself, I'm speaking for me as a jury. My job is to protect the taxpayer. And I will protect them at all costs. He need to pay up. He knew it wasn't free. And if it was left up to me and my vote, he'll be getting prosecuted because that is theft. That's theft on his part because he went through there and he was getting this scrap iron this whole time since 2019 and hadn't paid the parish a dime. Now, I understand Miss Garcia and them might be having a problem getting it weighed up, but they need to come up with some kind of number. Because I just can't see us letting this person get off scot-free. Scot-free? You done took this kind of money from the taxpayers and we gonna let you get off scot-free? Now that had to been me if I give a teaspoon of grab away on one of my, I'm for real. Let me fix the end of the driveway of one of my constituents' driveway and see what happens. They'll be trying to send me to jail. Couldn't nobody else do this. And we shouldn't let him get away with doing it. So I suggest that we take some kind of action tonight or instruct our attorney to take some action. Because we need to do something about this. It can't get swept under the rug and fall by the wayside, y'all. Because it's not fair to the taxpayers. It's not. That's money that could have been spent on somebody's road.
Mr. Chairman, excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Where are you at on that, Mr. Norton? I know you said we
The
don't have
last request was that y'all asked that I do some research on the internet to determine what the price of scrap
fair market
is.
value.
Fair market value of scrap. And the internet research will show you there are approximately 34 different types of scrap that range from prices anywhere from 7 cents a pound to $4.50 a ton. So I come back to the jury. I will do what the jury asks me to do, but I cannot come up with a price because I don't know what scrap was hauled off out there. We don't have a written agreement. If there's a verbal agreement, I would love to know what that verbal agreement was. I mean, I know Wardell Bowie was the superintendent, and if Wardell Bowie come up here and swore on a Bible, this is the verbal agreement, it takes two parties to make a verbal agreement. I'll do what the jury wants me to do, but I have no way of coming up with a number.
I understand that.
That's my problem. Yeah. And this administrator is not going to come up with a number for y'all. This is something, I can give y'all this information, but I believe, like Ms. Burrell says, it's the 11 jurors who have to make that decision, not your administrator.
Yeah. In my opinion, I don't think that he actually thought it was free. But I do think there's some people even in the scrap metal business that are expert, like mixed metal and that type of stuff, could probably give you a figure you could bring back to us. Yeah.
But going back to 2019, that's going to be the challenge.
It's going to be a challenge. But
I'm sorry, Ms. Pereira, on the sheet, does it show what type of metal?
No, it shows the tons and the date they got it.
Okay.
And how many tons it was. But see, this the catch to it that I don't like, Miss Simpson. This man that offered us one check. I mean, that's the mission right there. That then you turn around and you try to negotiate another price. So that's admitting to me that you knew you were taking this scrap iron and it wasn't free because you tried to give us so many dollars. Miss Garcia went cash a check because she said she didn't know if that was going to be enough from 2019 on. But I think it's worth us, somebody can tell us about this scrap iron. And that's just the truth. But I'm not willing to just let him get away scot-free and not do nothing, because really, honestly, it's theft. I don't care how we look at it. If you went in the landfill and you was taking that scrap iron out that place, that was theft. They don't even want us, the people, to dumpster dive.
Dumpster dive.
They said that's wrong.
Thank you.
See what I'm saying? They don't even allow them to do that. But you can go in our landfill. First of all, he was out there, no kind of insurance, nothing. That's another problem I got with it. See what I'm saying? We putting the parish, anything had to happen, it was gonna be on us. So we need to take some action, and we need not only take action on that, we need to take actions to make absolutely sure this doesn't happen again with scrap iron or nothing else.
So,
Mr. Baker,
Yes.
using those weigh tickets, does anybody know the total weight that left?
does it,
Yes,
it
sir.
shouldn't say it on there.
This it, here you go.
What's the total?
It's done in years. And
I
if
mean,
you-
in the time period y'all are discussing, how many tons have left?
how many tons, Miss Garcia? She adding them up for you.
Roughly, I mean,
So if we take the time,
and what, Mr. Norton, on your
Said.
sheet you showed, what's the lowest? You said 7 cents a ton?
7 cents
and the max is 4.
per pound. Yes, sir. You can do
pound.
conversion into tons, obviously, but
Yeah,
Roughly
This is-
851.
Tons
851 tons.
in that time period?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr.
Chair,
do some math.
60,000.
What's the time period
Miss-
again?
mi-
60,000.
2019 through early of 2023 when I stopped them from bringing
So-
it.
That's when you stopped,
Yes, sir, I stopped them coming out there.
okay. So how far it goes back to when he started going out?
It was a certain time in 2019. I don't have the exact. I think it was August of 2019 or somewhere around there. Yes, sir.
Do you have the
Thinking it was back in,
do you have the price amount of what the weight was, the amount for 2019 on your sheet?
No, when you pull this up on the internet, you do research, it gives you the last date the pricing was done.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
you can go and you can Google what was the price of it in 2019. It's going to give you the same information. What was the last price that was quoted?
Yeah, 800.
metal is characterized as clean metal, dirty metal, aluminum.
Well, I believe the metal out there is kind of classified as tin. Is
tin?
what and most of it, according to what
Okay,
the
so
superintendent
we're
tells me, is
getting
10. And 10, there is a 10 price on
Okay,
here
so we're getting
for
somewhere.
$4.05 per CWT. A commercial weight tons, I guess. I don't know what that
Okay,
term
so
is,
most
but
of
I'm
it is
assuming
that.
that's per
Tons
ton.
for that?
So if it's $4.05 per ton, that's if it's all tin, but it's not all tin. I mean, right now, the scrap out there, you can look, there's quite a bit of steel.
Yep.
But I don't know, that's what I'm telling you, I don't know how to classify that. But we want to go by tin. This price for shredded tin was $4.05 per ton in 2022, and that was the last recorded price that I could find.
I
So,
think
but
that's
that
what-
doesn't go back to
Mr.
2019.
Norton, I think that's per 100 pounds.
Yes, right now.
Yeah,
But
that's
For
CWT.
what, Dwayne?
Per 100 pounds. $4 or something per 100.
Yeah,
That's correct.
not a ton, because you wouldn't get nuts.
Mr. Baker. When is the last time we actually got paid for any scrap, Mr. Norton?
That was when I believe MIMS
Well, I
paid
thought-
us before
Well,
the
what were
new
they paying
person.
us? They ain't bound to
They
have
would
a
send
price
us,
they were paying us.
we would get a check, and it would not tied to any tickets or anything. That's the
So
problem.
we don't know
But
what
we
we were
can't-
selling it for to them either then.
Correct. We can't even come up with that. I mean, you're talking about going back to 2019 records, and
So we didn't have any tickets to show what they were getting. They would just send us a check periodically.
go ahead.
I do have 2 tickets from MIMS. I don't have a date on this, but it was $3 per 100, and then I have another ticket, $1.50 per 100. But on both of these tickets, my understanding and just asking different people for information, we were actually taking this to the
Mr. Chair.
company.
Excuse me.
So
Could you get
even
some
the
quietness in the
prices
open
that he
audience?
just quoted
Go ahead to hear
is
coming up.
us taking it to the recycling center, not them picking it up. And I think that's what this company was doing, going to our site to pick it up.
What's the bid? It's some bids just went in. What are they bidding on scrap metal now?
Well, the bids that we were trying to get was to come out there and get the scrap off our yard. And I believe the last agreement was something along us having to bring it to them. And David, do you recall what the price was? Was it $103? $130 if we hauled it to them per ton.
So if we said it was 851 tons, right? And if we go with the lowest estimate of 7 cents a ton, I mean a pound,
Right.
then it's $119,000 owed. My question would be to our legal counsel, based off what you've heard, or have you looked into this, but based off what you've heard, that we don't have a written contract with him, we don't have a written contract, correct?
No, sir.
Do we have the ability to go to him and negotiate, even if it's the lowest, because we can't prove how many tons of each kind of metal? I'm assuming, what I'm hearing from you, there's nothing on the ticket, right, that says, it just says a weight.
Yep.
So if we go by the lowest weight, we go by the lowest average price and take the weight that we know that he took, do we have any grounds to collect that money?
Well, I would be hesitant to give too much legal information in an open meeting. I'll be glad to talk to you afterwards, but at this point, I would say that my preliminary evaluation would be that you would need additional information as to the details of the oral agreement that was made on behalf of the police jury. I mean, that whoever made an oral agreement needs to be interviewed, and we make a determination of what kind of agreement was, what our position was the oral agreement made by the police jury representative. It would need to be what the first question would be.
Furthermore,
Oral agreements are enforceable, but you'd have to know what the terms of the oral agreement were.
but would the oral agreement have to have authorization to be made?
We'll have to look into what.
I mean, would the jury have to authorize that individual who's no longer here to make that agreement?
Depends what kind of authority you had given that employee at the time.
Mr. Beck?
That's changed with different, and at least my experience over the last 20 years of dealing with the police jury is that the level of authority that you gave individual employees at various points has changed. So they may or may not have had the authority to make that agreement on behalf of the police jury. We'd have to look and see what the policy was, and if they were various factors, their job description, just you'd have to look and see and make that determination.
Richard?
I have a concern. We as police jurors, this came before us before. I don't know if you were on here at the time. It came before us before as for, we weren't giving this scrap away. So it wasn't, I mean, whether that was a contract written or what, we wasn't giving it away. Because it came, like I say, if you have, I mean, because that's plenty, I know I do scrap myself, so I know there's plenty of money in it. So probably we give away parish money like that. So now whether that was a contract written out, we did discuss it, and we might have to go back in the agenda and back in the minutes and find out which meeting it was discussing. But it was discussed about that solid waste, the scrap iron, and we wasn't giving it away. So that's something we may have to look into, go back and look in the minutes and see when we can pull up where it was discussed. But it was definitely discussed here before us jurors. I mean, there wasn't nothing free. I wasn't giving away nothing free, so.
I think we all can agree that it wasn't free, but I think what we're trying to do is to make sure that we don't come back and get a lawsuit behind this. I feel like, yes, he should pay something something should be paid because it wasn't free, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we are covered. We all understand, no, it was not free. We get that. But we need to make sure that, and I agree with Ms. Burrell, something needs to be paid. But I also agree with legal, don't rush into it and we end up with a possible lawsuit behind it.
I agree.
Oh,
My thing is just find the person who made the verbal.
Yes, I agree with
Deal
you
with the person who
there.
made the verbal. and
I agree.
That's what we need. But like it was discussed here in this meeting that it wasn't free.
Yeah, I
So that means they had to either do a contract, verbal, whatever they did, to give these companies this metal.
well, I just want to say this, and I'm through with it. I told y'all in the last meeting that the two people he said he made the verbal agreement with, they said they was willing to come and testify, do whatever they need to do to explain to you all what took place. It was the same agreement everybody had. What the agreement was they weigh in. He get a ticket. He signs a ticket. He get a ticket.
Okay.
They take because metal changed, so then he would take that ticket. He was supposed to report back to the main office. Did nothing, nothing but the weigh tickets went through solid waste. All the rest of it was handled through the main office. And Mr. Bowie specifically said, I called on several occasions because we wasn't ever getting nothing and asked, was he paying for this scrap iron? Because we weren't hearing nothing back on it. We didn't do nothing at the landfill. It all came through. He said Melissa kept telling me that she would take care of it. She would take care of it. But he said he is willing to come up here. Also, Sherman said the same thing. He knew it wasn't free, and they'll come up here and let us know that he knew what he was doing. He knew it wasn't free. But he said once they weigh it in, know what I'm saying? Then it's between the main office and this man. And he said he asked 2-3 separate times concerning it, and they always tell him they'll take care of it. So, yeah, we need to, I agree with council too. It's worth looking into, and that's what I'm saying. We need to get them up here so they can tell y'all how this went, how it was supposed to go, and how it was supposed to be done.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to refer it to legal counsel for investigative report.
Okay,
I second.
I'll second.
have a motion and a second for it to go to legal counsel for her to tell us what we got.
Okay.
And to find out about the verbal contracts, talk to whoever she needs to. You typing that up, Miss Jody? Sure did. Oh, please vote on this now.
So this is including, we're gonna get Mr. Bowie and whoever the office personnel was to come in and talk to the council about this, with this?
Whoever she needs.
She could call them, whatever.
Talk to, yes.
Okay.
Motion passes. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Second.
Welcome.
We're adjourned. Thank you, Ms. Gary.
Thank you.
President report, been none. Legal counsel report,
None.
any call in addition, any call for additions and deletions to the administrative items?
I have an addition. I'd like to add to the administrative committee to approve the special event permit application for My Black and Brown Incorporated. Event scheduled for September 17th, 2023. They did not get their permit application in
Okay.
soon enough.
A roll call vote, Mr. Fuller,
I didn't quite hear it.
And is this
to add it to the agenda.
Add to the agenda to to approve a special event permit application for My Black and Brown Incorporated, event scheduled for September 17th, 2023.
So move.
The reason for adding is because they didn't get their permit application in deadline.
Timely matter.
Aye.
What kind of event is it?
I beg your pardon?
What kind of event?
I have no idea. My Black and Brown Incorporated. Does anybody know what kind of event it's supposed to be?
A family event trying to raise.
I didn't hear her.
I can't think of it. I'll put Jesse Latin Road.
So it's a fundraiser event for a
Right, this
family.
here just to add to the agenda.
Aye.
Second.
Roll call, okay, I second.
Aye.
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 Yeah.
Okay, this will be added to the administrative agenda.
Item
Item
number 13.
Yes, sir.
Nine administrative items. Number one, approve the president to sign an agreement with the DeSoto Parish Tax Commission for the hotel motel tax.
So moved.
Mr. Mitchell, have a
Second.
motion. Second, Mr.
Baker.
Baker. Any discussion? No discussion? Vote? Yeah. Motion passed. Item number two, appoint one member to the DeSoto Parish Planning Commission serving the remaining term for Michael Rister. We have two nominees, Betty Carter and Jimbo Davlin.
We have another one, Johnny Jones.
Johnny Jones.
Or is it Johnny Ray Jones?
Johnny Ray Jones.
Johnny Ray Jones.
I nominate Jimbo Davlin.
Okay. We have three people nominated, Betty Carter, Jimbo Davlin, and Johnny Jones.
I nominate Betty Carter.
We have,
Mr. Davlin's here.
I vote for Johnny Ray Jones.
I got a question.
Did you say, Mr. Parker?
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question. Isn't Mr. Davlin's brother already on that planning commission?
Yes, he is.
So you're gonna have. I just found that out a while ago. I mean, I didn't know.
He's already on.
Eligible to sit then, is he eligible to be on, to serve on that?
do what?
I'm asking, is he, our attorney, is he eligible to?
He's already on it.
Nothing in the law against it.
Oh, I just wondered.
I'm not aware of anything forbidding it.
It's like a conflict.
He's already on it, so.
Hmm?
He's
How
already
we gonna
on it.
vote on it?
I guess you can do a roll call and ask them to say who they want to vote with and say they are. I'll do it that way.
So what now?
Yeah, we'll call out one name and do a roll call vote.
Okay. There's three of them. We're gonna, which one y'all will start with, or does it matter?
The first one, Miss Betty Carter.
Miss Betty Carter.
Excuse me, I'm trying to get clarity. Isn't Mr. Davlin already on it?
His
No, he's
brother
not.
is.
His brother is.
Brian
He already
Davlin.
on it?
No, Brian Davlin, his brother is
Oh,
on
your
it.
brother is on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, we don't need two of them. Brother still on it. Oh, Jimbo.
All right.
Okay,
We need somebody that'll show up to that. I'm on that committee, and we need somebody that'll show up. We have a hard time getting a quorum. Whoever gets elected needs to try to show up.
Yeah. We also don't want the deck stacked either. So I understand what you're saying. I don't mind. So people will show up. You know, we get them on there. Yeah.
And I'll
Now, who
make
to
a,
vote for?
I'll make a comment on that, if, Mr. President, if I could comment on this. The statute where the planning commissions were formed, if you look in there, there is a clause in it that says the police jury or other parish governing authority may remove any member of the commission after a public hearing for inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office. So you can remove them. You just have to give them a public hearing and say, we're gonna remove you for this reason. So if someone's not showing up, that's obviously inefficiency. So, you know, I mean, I try to go to all of these. I missed the last one because I had a conflict, but they always have difficulty getting quorum at
We
these.
just replaced a couple in the last year or so because of that
Right.
reason. They
Yeah,
weren't
'cause we
showing up.
discussed that, yeah.
So, we need to know if they're not showing up so that we
Right.
can replace them.
Right.
We can start giving you that information. I will.
I would just like to ask again for those minutes and those attendance records to be passed on to us so we know when they're meeting, what they're meeting about, and who's showing up or who's not showing up.
Okay.
We knew for like a month, and then we hadn't gotten anything since then. So I'm assuming there's been no meetings, Michael, in the last,
They had
but
one
we
last
never
month.
know what they're doing.
The poster came back to us
Okay, yes or no for,
for what
sorry,
name?
Miss,
What name?
Miss Betty Carter,
Is it Betty Carter?
Miss Betty
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Mr.
No.
Mitchell?
Yes.
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 No.
No.
Yes.
No.
How many did you tally up for?
I got 5 for. Means 5 against.
Right.
Is it tied?
Did it pass?
We tied.
All right, we'll vote on Mr. Jimbo.
Yes, sir.
Back to it. Another time.
Just fill
Be the opposite, huh?
It's gonna be the opposite.
Go ahead.
Where you starting at?
You, Mr. Baker? I won't take over his meeting here.
Oh, okay.
Where we starting?
Start with you.
Yes.
Mr.
No.
Baker. Mr. Parker?
No.
Yes.
No.
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 Yes.
No.
We're getting somewhere. He does.
You have, Ms. Jody?
No.
Baker, Mr. Rowe, and Mr. Mitchell voted yes?
That's correct.
Everybody else voted yes, right? He only has 3 yeses. And then we got Mr. Jones to go.
I vote for Mr. Johnny Jones. Mr. Fuller?
Now, what name you say?
Johnny Jones?
I don't know, 7. I mean, there's only 1 vacancy.
Who is on John? Who is that?
Johnny Ray Jones, his wife is, Natasha.
No.
The police department, the sheriff's office.
No.
She drives the dare.
No.
Mr. Mitchell?
What did you?
I said no.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Who's Johnny Jones?
Johnny Ray Jones.
I don't know, Mr. Jones. No.
Ms. Boyd?
Yes.
No.
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 Yes.
No.
No, I don't know him.
We only have 1 seat.
So, that seat's not full.
Miss Betty Carter got 5 yeses, Mr. Davin got 3 yeses, Mr. Jones got 2 yeses.
Oh, it's Miss Betty.
So it's Ms. Carter.
Okay.
So it's Ms. Carter.
Well,
She was a tie.
it was a tie.
Oh, was,
Ties or no vote?
want to break the tie?
I make a motion, alternate motion, that we come back with more names next,
Oh, geez.
I'll have to second that since.
Oh, come on, man.
Person on there. How soon do we have this?
Wait a minute.
Mr. Holmes, you got a second, Mr.
We had
Mitchell?
Aye.
With 5 votes?
We just need 1 person on this board. We need 2 for the next.
But on this vote, we had, 2 people had 5 votes.
Now,
I got a motion and a second to defer till next meeting. Jody, we're gonna put it on the board to vote
That's with me, Mr. Holmes, the next.
next month, I guess.
So everybody else come up short of that, huh? So why she didn't get it?
Next month
I second that.
It's a tie vote
don't
when
know.
we voted for it. Huh? It's 5-4 and 5 against. Tie vote don't pass.
Man, Mr. Real been here.
And Mr. Holmes made that motion, right?
Main motion to defer, yes.
And then
Mr.
you
Mitchell
seconded?
second.
Okay.
It'll be for next meeting, 2 weeks from now,
Yes,
Do you want the regular meeting
regular meeting.
regular meeting.
under new business or old business?
Old
Old
business.
Old business.
Old business.
Let everybody vote.
Can I ask a question before you do this, Tom? Is that saying those names can't go back on there that were on here, or we gotta get complete new names?
They can.
Okay, it said, for more names, that's why I'm just trying to make sure.
Yeah, they can.
Can it say additional?
You can't, I mean, nothing was approved, so they can be,
Yeah.
come up again.
Sir?
They can come up again.
Okay, I just wanna make sure, cause the way that's written is like, you gotta come up with whole new names.
No, them and more names if somebody wanted to bring some forward.
I would think if they were voted down, that would be the end of it.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm not sure, Mr. Jimmy, legal counsel.
We'll have to look at your bylaws, but I think there is something in your bylaws saying you're not allowed to reconsider a failed vote within so much time, but we'll have to look at the specifics on your bylaws.
Oh, okay.
There's certain votes that you cannot, according to your bylaws.
Got 2 remaining.
Parker, Mr. Parker.
Motion passed. All right, item number 3, appoint 2 members to the Bayou Pier Fish and Game Commission.
So move.
Have a
Second.
motion and a second. Do you have any by names for that?
I did not get any names for that.
And also, we'll have names for that position, next meeting also. Yes, ma'am.
Can you get us a list of who's on there?
It should be in your packet.
Tommy,
I think we had a list.
Gary Calhoun, Tommy Mason, James Lindsay, Jacqueline Dunn, Bubba Woods.
That's already,
Bubba Woods coming off.
I see.
oh, okay.
No.
I have a motion and a second to defer to the next meeting.
A motion.
Oh,
Say you already have it? Or
I
you-
thought we had it.
I knew Mr. Ross
Oh.
made it.
Yeah,
knew
I
Mr.
second, I second it. I think
Oh,
Mr. Fuller made it.
Mr. Fuller?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, vote. Motion passed. Item number 4, authorize the president to sign a legal service agreement and resolution with Ron Machota LLC for possible claims against 3M regarding contamination of water supplies in the parish, pending approval from the Attorney General's office.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Motion by Mr.
Jones.
Jones and a second by Mr. Ross. Any discussion? Discussion?
Does anybody know what the pending approval from Attorney General's office means?
I do. Generally, under law, the DA's office has to be your counsel, but if there's special matters that are handled by lawyers with special knowledge, or in this case, this is a class action lawsuit, then if you retain counsel outside the DA's office, the AG has to sign off on it. No, every time you retain anyone outside the DA's office, they're supposed to sign off on it. Or, I mean, they can reject it, but it has to be presented for their consideration.
Is Machota's law office, are they, I didn't think they typically did class action suits. Do they have any experience with that?
I believe Mike can speak to that. I think they were invited to come here.
Yeah, I made 2 requests for the office to send a representative to speak on this, but, I mean, their letter said that they would show up at a request, so I've requested it twice, and they're not here tonight. I don't believe anyone from Ron Machota's office is here, so.
The actual proposal had 4 law firms listed in it, and I can speak to the experience of the various law firms.
And his is the only local law firm, right?
No,
Wasn't it?
no, Washington and Wells is a Shreveport law firm, and they were part of that agreement as well. The other 2 law firms I'm not familiar with.
It's not gonna cost us anything.
No.
That's correct. I reviewed the agreement, and there's no payments required by the police jury of any costs or fees if the lawsuit is unsuccessful.
No more discussion, vote.
And if the jurors want to know more information about this, inside your binders, there's some information about the 3M chemical issue.
Motion pass. Item number 5, authorize the president to sign a resolution granting approval to International Paper for the installation and crossing of a new water line through Clear Lake Smithport Lake. Do I have a motion?
So move.
A motion by Mr. Fuller,
Second.
second by Mr. Rowe. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman. Go ahead,
Yes.
Mr. Parker. I yield.
Do we have a drawing or anything showing where this is crossing the lake, what's involved in it?
No, I think it's gonna be beside the existing line. They already have a line ran for water supply.
Where's the existing line at?
That I don't know. Correct, Mr. Michael?
Correct. It's a redundant line.
Yeah.
They've expressed, I think at the last meeting, that they essentially, IP cannot go down without water, and because of aging infrastructure, they want to put an additional line in there in case that old water line goes down, so.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. I was just wondering, Mr. Chairman, because I thought the majority of that lake was privately owned.
All of the lakes privately owned.
That's what I
They
thought.
still would have to negotiate with all the owners. This is
Yeah.
just a resolution to authorize them to move forward with that.
Okay.
Yeah. They'd be subject to negotiating with the landowners.
Any more discussion? No more, vote.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Motion passed. Item number 6, authorize the president to execute a resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Louisiana DOTD for a grant for 49 CFR 5311 formula grant for rural areas and 49 CFR 5339 grants for bus facility programs. This is for the Council on Aging.
So move.
A motion by Mr.
Second.
Jones, second by Mr.
Second, Ross.
Rodriguez Ross. Any discussion? Not, vote. All right, motion passed. Item number 7, discuss and enact term limits with a modification to our bylaws for DeSoto Parish jurors to mirror the limits set forth for all school board members across the state, to be able to serve 3 consecutive terms maximum with no restriction to run again after 1 full term out of office. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Kennington,
Second.
second by Mr. Parker. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I put this on the agenda, and I just wanted to point out, it's pretty self-explanatory, but in 1995, there was some state lawmaker term limit language passed, and it passed by the entire state at 76%. And then in 2012, the school boards passed overwhelmingly term limits for all the school board members. And that number, that average was over 80% from every district, every school board district in the state except one, and it was like 78 or 79%. So it's pretty, you could make an argument that everybody in the state, the public at least, is appreciative of term limits. I think, you know, we've discussed it. I think it was discussed before my time on the jury, and I just thought that it was, after discussing with some of you, I think it's important that we allow some others in the parish to step up. But as I discussed with Mr. Parker, I don't want to prohibit, if you go out of term and somebody else serves, I don't want to prohibit you from running again. But this would allow you to run 12 years consecutive, and then you would have to sit out a term, and then you could come back. And this wouldn't be effective until January 1st of 2024. So if any of you guys are reelected January or October, then your 3-year term or your 3-term stint would start January. So it wouldn't go back and prohibit you from not running next time or anything like that, if that makes sense. And it just mirrors what all the school boards passed throughout the state.
So you saying you can run 3 more times if this passes?
If this passes tonight, you're running now for 2024. You could serve 3 more stints. Actually, yes.
3 more counting the next election.
So you could serve 12 more years.
Not to pass the full jury one, regular meeting one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is just committee.
Mr. Chair.
Any more discussion, Mr. Fuller?
Yes, I just want to say, you know, on term limit, your people in your parish determine how long you stay in the seat. If they feel you're doing a good job, they'll vote you back in. If they feel you're not doing a good job, they will vote you out. You won't get the 12 years. So that's the way I look at it, you know. So, you know, if you're doing a good job, your people to take care of you. If you're not, your people to take care of you that way too.
Mr. Chairman.
That-
Go ahead, somebody
Mr.
else.
Mitchell?
Second. I don't know who I need to call to, you or our
Go ahead.
chairman here.
Go ahead.
You know, in theory, I'm not opposed to term limits, but I can assure you today, I've visited probably 60 to 70 people. And I asked that specific question to them in my district. And they told me that that is not the number one thing that they think of about their representative on the DeSoto Parish Police Jury. The majority of them said that. Some of them didn't comment, but the majority of them said that. It doesn't figure in their vote whatsoever, how many terms you serve. It's how you represent them, like Mr. Fuller said. I'm not dead set against term limits on that, but Mr. Kennington, you're not running. Why did you bring this?
Because as a juror, I have the right to bring anything I want to the jury.
I understand that. You're
And my constituents have asked for it.
all of them?
Well, I mean, as all of our jurors in this room, we don't speak to every one of our constituents. We will, but
I've tried to.
we don't get we're not afforded the opportunity to speak to all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overwhelmingly, my people are for it.
Okay, well,
But you should have told them you gonna run anyway, so you been out anyway. They want a term limit. Should have told them you
Well,
weren't gonna run
in
anymore.
being truthful, and if you can choose to believe me or not, I was going to bring this whether I ran or not.
Yeah.
and Mr. Holm has brought
Read
it
that.
before.
And-
He's mentioned it in the meeting. I mean,
And Mr. Holm, I want to agree with Mr. Fuller, Mr. Wayne. I mean, why you want to put the constituents 12 years to put up with something they don't have to put up with when they can get rid of you in 4 years? I mean, the remainder of the time, a lot of years, you can get things done. You know,
I call for the question.
Call for the question. Vote.
Hang on,
oh, yeah.
I'm gonna make an alternate motion that this be put before the citizens.
Excuse me, before you do it, I call for the question. So how we making alternate motion?
Because I asked to.
Excuse me, Mr. Baker. I
Did
call
you
for the
recognize
question. That
me?
means we go for the vote.
I didn't see you, so.
Okay.
no,
You weren't
but I-
recognized.
But I will.
Forget it.
I'll recognize you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Forget it. That's
No.
all right. I don't wanna make Mr. Fuller mad.
No, I
So
want to
for-
recognize you. I think you should have a say over it.
I'd just like to make an alternate motion that we put this on a vote before the public of the parish. Let the citizens vote on this, not us. If they decide we want to have term limits, they'll approve for us to have term limits. If they don't want us to have term limits, they won't vote for it. So just like the public got to vote for the school board, state legislators, state senate, let the public vote on this.
I'll second that.
I'll second it.
Second that. I agree with
That's the way, we'll know.
that. Vic- can-
All right, we got an alternate motion. Did you get that down, Jody? Any discussion on alternate motion?
Trina.
Ms. Trina?
I mean, I agree with Mr. Baker because we sit in these seats because we were voted into these seats and we still work for the people. So I think they should have the right to decide whether or not they want us to be termed or no termed.
They're deciding already when you vote.
Exactly,
But-
they
but-
decide
I mean,
on
yeah, you're
it,
right,
they
yeah, you're
decide
right.
on
Yeah,
your term
but
every 4 years.
But in some cases.
Every 4 years is a term.
But in some cases, think about how many people actually come out and vote. The numbers are low.
What
I
they
don't
got
know
to
if
do
that's
with,
by your-
what they got to do with
What-
voting on, putting that up for? What they got to do with your term limit? Because people don't come out to vote. Oh, he gonna run this time, so I'm gonna go out and vote. Or this guy not running this time, so I'm not gonna go out and vote. What sense would that make?
Okay.
I mean, you had it right. I'm not, you're right.
You have
But
the
again,
motion up there, Jody.
it should be the people to make a decision.
They make a decision every 4 years.
Any more discussion?
Sometimes they don't make the right, sometimes they don't make those
All right.
decisions.
It's
Here we go,
theirs.
vote.
It's their decision.
Baker.
All right, motion passed. Item number 8, authorize participation by staff and jurors in the Northwest Louisiana Veterans Day Week, beginning November the 6th, 2023 through November 12th, 2023 at the Louisiana State Fairgrounds.
So move.
Have a
Second.
motion. Mr. Fuller, Mr. Ross. Any discussion on that? Yeah, Mr. Parker?
I'd like to know just what we're participating in.
I actually put
Veterans
on what,
Day.
I had,
Celebrations.
Mr. Ken Evans from the Shreveport, he sent us the information. It'll be a
in here?
participation in the parade at the fairground on Veterans Day
Oh,
for the police jury. We've done it once before, so, yes, sir.
okay. Veterans Day. So that's a yes.
Any more discussion? All right, vote, please. Motion pass. Item number 9, approve application for the Love's Truck Stop liquor license.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Rowe and Mr. Ross. Any discussion on that? Vote.
Oh, I thought I did.
All right, motion passed. Item number 10, authorize the president to sign a grant application for the fiscal year 2023, 2024 CWEF grant. That's North DeSoto Water System. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Mr. Kennington
Second.
and Mr. Baker. Any discussion?
Yes, you know what this grant gonna be used for? Any information on how, what it's gonna be used?
At this point, no, we don't know what it's gonna be used for, but they're next in line, and we're starting the grant application early this year because we always get behind the 8 ball, and we're always scrambling at the end, so this is to start the grant first. Just recognize them as being the grant recipient.
Mr. Chairman, their current president's in the room. He might be able to answer Mr. Arnell's question if he chooses to, if he knows.
Well, I don't know a specific thing, but we've got 3 big projects going on. We're waiting on some more grant money, hopefully. So we need line extensions, we need tank replacements,
Generator.
Those are conversations that our office can have with the president of North Dakota.
Yeah.
Water.
I just wanted to
Yes.
help him. I knew there were ideas.
Does any of that include your piping, changing out your piping?
We're currently got a contract to do a little over half a mile of new pipe going up Dalton Road to Stanley Road. That project is estimated to be about $170,000. But yes, and we need to line north on 171, that's a 10-inch line. Got more subdivisions on the drawing board to come in town. In that area of Stonewall, not just in the town limits, but the North Dakota water system serves all of the town itself, and then some of the outlying areas, all the way over to Friarson Apartments.
Okay, oh yeah. The reason I asked was, I've been made aware that there's some, grant money that come through the parish for water system that need to replace their line. If they have some old piping within their line and within their system, then there's a grant that could come, available to come through the police jury, that we might could get that to you.
Share it with me, I love it.
Okay, I will.
Motion passed. Item number 11, authorize the president to sign the 2024-2025 LCDBG grant application with the DeSoto Parish Police Jury paying administrative and engineering fees. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Mitchell
Second.
and Ms. Trina Boyd. Any discussion?
There's one question. Like, if they get the grant, we're paying the fees before, because like, if we get the grant normally pays the fees.
I think
So
we're paying
how we gonna do?
we're gonna pay for
No,
the
it'll be
administrative
inside
and
the grant.
engineering fees to apply for it, right?
Yes, sir.
What's
Hopefully we'll
included?
get the grant after that.
What's included in that particular grant that we're asking?
That is the grant that we lost because of the publication, the Bird
Bird
Roads.
Streets?
Bird Streets, yes, sir. That's an example, but DEQ and LDH is, they're kind of running the LCDBG grant focus right now, so until they tell us what we can spend it on, again, we're starting this process early so we can get ahead of that.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, vote. Motion passed. Item number 12, authorize the administrator to sign an agreement with DeSoto Regional Health Systems to provide health care for the operations at the DeSoto Parish Detention Center.
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Kennington,
Second.
second by Ms. Trina Boyd. Any discussion? If not, vote.
Stone, who are we currently using now?
Who are we using now?
Yes, sir.
I thought that's who we were using, DeSoto
So we,
Regional.
okay,
It's just a new.
Motion passed. Item number 13, approve the special event permit application for My Black and Brown Incorporated event schedule for September the 17th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ross, Mr. Kennington, second. Any discussion?
Do we have a copy?
No. I don't think we have anything on that except this.
Well, they just missed the deadline.
Did everything else pan out on that application, Mr. Norton?
No, not to my knowledge. This is,
Just process.
this is just to forego the 30-day waiting period.
Waiting period.
Yeah, because they did not get their application in on time. I don't think it's completed at this point.
But so you can't say if they've met all the other qualifications?
I cannot, no, sir.
I think it still have to be approved by the
Yeah, it
office.
still has to go through the,
This is just to accept the application late.
Right.
Late.
Right.
Just-
Any more discussion? If not, vote.
the wording,
It's tricky, but
It's good. It says approve the event application.
Can I ask a question? If you go by the September the 17th, like I say, our next meeting, I mean, that's on the 18th, so how would we? I mean, because we're not gonna be able to approve it till,
Well, it's not for us to approve, it's for the officers to approve if they meet the right criteria. And they can do that tomorrow.
I guess what I'm saying, unless we retrofit doing it, because like I said, that date, we won't go before the full jury before that date.
Yeah,
For-
to come
I
up
mean,
in
we're
the regular
approving in the
meeting.
committee, but we're not approving in the regular meeting.
Right, right.
Well, at least it's the administrative committee. That is everybody. Motion passed. Do I have a big pardon?
Mr. Baker has, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I hit the button too soon, Mr. Baker. I apologize.
Have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Baker, second by Mr. Ross to adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
Budget and finance,
Call the Budget and Finance Committee to order. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Any guest or public comments? Budget and finance items, authorize the treasurer to sign an application with U.S. Bank Voyager for a fleet card fuel program.
so moved.
Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. This is a card that we use, right now we're using a card that most of us know as Fuel Man. And this is just changing from them to another vendor that's a little bit easier to do business with.
Mr. Chairman, just out of abundance of caution, I'm gonna abstain just because it deals with a bank. I don't think it's a conflict, but
I understand.
they don't always view it like I view it.
Motion passes. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
So move.
Second.
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 All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
road committee,
Road committee are called to order. Call for additions and deletions. I have one.
Two.
Author,
Should be two.
one, one,
Together.
two's on, two.
Okay.
Authorize the president to sign a CA with the town of Logansport for road repairs on Ashton Street and Lover Lane with ARPA
Look,
money, ARCA money.
ARPA money. And can I make a comment on, when it says Lovell Lane, everybody's familiar with that. That's where old Drew's Barbecue used to be down there, Keith. That's a major outlet. You know where that's at. You've ate there before.
Let's get a
you
motion.
need a motion in a second.
Motion and second before we discuss.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Jimmy Holmes, second by Keith Parker. Discussion. Roll call vote, Mr. Fuller.
I'm not on.
No. Just your committee.
It's on my committee, okay.
Mr.
Jimmy
Holmes?
Holmes,
Yes.
Arnell,
Yes.
Keith,
Yeah.
Ms. Burrell's absent. I vote yes. That'd be item number 6. Guest to public comments,
I thought you
Mrs.
had two things.
Huh?
I thought y'all
Two-
said you
It's
had-
two roads on the same sheet.
Combined, I think.
Oh, okay, two
combined them.
roads. I thought you had two items. Okay.
Two roads on the same list. Guest in public comments, Mrs. Norris, Mr. Whitaker, and George Small. Y'all please step forward.
R.D. Norris and Ernest. Thank you.
We thank y'all for letting us come in and register a few complaints that we have about George Small Road and Red Lake Road, which is, Red Lake Road is in District 6, George Small Road is District 5, That's where I live. And we have been here before and registered our complaints.
Excuse me, according to the new map, 6 is not relevant anymore for that road.
It's not what?
Well, it still is.
It is
until you
today.
have the
Okay.
election.
Okay.
Continue on, sir, I'm sorry.
But anyway, we have been in here before several times and trying to get some work done down there. We've gotten a little bit, but not what we really been asking for. So we just want to, we got a few things that we want to let y'all hear about. And Mrs. Norris would be doing the most of the speaking, but there's a few things that I would like to say also.
Well, I'm back again because the last time that we were here, we spoke and we had been attending the meetings occasionally. And the purpose was to see if you all are going to do anything about those two roads in the Savannah Mission community. We find that you're still doing the same thing that you had been doing for years, and that's not very much. That's only doing enough, I suppose, to think that we are satisfied. So you're still dropping rocks on the road with the sharp edges, and you are still not dragging the ditches where that would help to build the roads up and cause the, make good drainage on the roads. So on the George Small Road, where my property connects with IP's property, I noticed recently there have been new curves installed, 4 64-inch curves installed on the IP property, and 1 18-inch curve installed on my property. This leads me to believe that the water moves faster off IP's property than it does mine. And on the 16th of August, I received a call from your office stating that an engineer was supposed to have called me requesting that I show him what I want him to do, the exact spot in that to show him what I wanted him to fix on that road. And I replied that we wanted the whole road worked on and made it convenient for traveling. So I stayed home the remaining of that day waiting for the call, and all day the next day, and I never received that call. So I really don't know what the problem is, but we are still asking you that as soon as possible, we hope that you can get started on repairing those roads, because it's a problem when it rains, traveling the road, and if we are not in mud, we're in dust. And we are here to see, and I noticed that on your agendas, there are statements showing that a certain amount of money is allotted for other roads, but I didn't see anything about those two roads. And we want to know what happens to our money for our roads. Anybody would like to address the questions?
Ms. Norris, let me say this. You know, when we've gone through a redistricting, and the redistricting was, we spent a lot of time because it was challenged. So we had to go through court to get the redistricting. to get the lines, because they were contested. And once the court was, once that decision was made in the court, then we was able to know what the lines were, make sure that the lines that each juror had was gonna remain such. And I think right now with the election coming up, but the redistricting, I think, Red Lick is mine now.
Yeah.
Red Lick is in my district now,
And half of George Small.
and after George Small. So what I told you when you came back last time, I was, with redistricting, it'll be my district. It'll be my district, and I'm gonna take care of it. But with the court cases and now the election, trust me, just, you're in my district on Jacob Street, right? So I took care of you then. I'm gonna take care of you now. But just gotta allow once the court case was over with, then I start putting things in motion within my district. I think I went out there and I think I was gonna give Ross and take me out there and look at exactly what you was talking about. But that was your district at first.
Yes, sir, and before the
So I gotta
redistricting,
get a feel of what's needed. And trust me, it's
How
coming.
long is that gonna take?
It's not gonna take long. Because of my district, I didn't have an opponent. I can go out and start meeting my new people in my new district and looking at all the other areas that I've acquired to see what they need. Okay?
well,
We've been having people to come out and look for years.
Well, it wasn't my district, it wasn't my area then, that's all I can say. It wasn't my area
It
then.
was somebody's area.
Right, it wasn't mine.
All we've been getting was false promises, and that's putting it mildly.
I
And it's been
understand.
going on for years and years and years. And we pay taxes just like anybody else. We was promised, on George Small Road, we was promised about almost 10 years ago that when they finished Friendship Road, next road would be George Small Road. That very next year, at the beginning of the year, whatever year that was, it's about 10 years ago, it didn't happen. It happened about 2 years later. We got a little bit of asphalt, spread it on 2 miles of George Small Road, which lasted about a year and a half, and it started breaking up because it came in and put about 3 inches of asphalt on a weak road, on a weak foundation. It did not last. We are almost back to a gravel road now. Those 2 miles they did, we're back to a gravel road now.
Well, I get out there with Mr. Ross and with the engineer, and I can't account for what somebody else did, but right now it's mine. So, and from now on in the future, hold me accountable for it. When you come back in, then if it's not done, then you can get on me. You can get on me then.
We will.
Or you won't. I'm not gonna let you.
go ahead, man.
Well, I want to say that, and then Reggie Road was the one that promised that those roads should have been fixed about
Yeah.
9, 10 years ago, and Reggie Road was the one that promised that those roads were the first on the agenda for that year. And that been about, what, 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago?
At least 7 years ago.
Promise.
Excuse me.
Well,
Mr. Phillip, didn't we just turn in a work order on that road down there a couple of weeks ago? Frederick's not here?
No, I believe he done some drainage work the last couple of weeks on George Small.
Okay, well, they saying we ain't done nothing, but we done that. and we-
No, I mentioned that a few minutes ago. I mentioned the size of the curbings on both of them. On the curbings on my property, the one 18-inch curbing you heard me say a few minutes ago, and the other one, but one is larger on IP's property. It's larger than the one on my property. So, and just as I said, I feel like the water goes through the larger one faster than it goes through the smaller ones. And my problem is why the curbings couldn't have been the same size.
That's an engineering problem. They go out there with engineers, figure out which way the water's flowing, which way it's supposed to go. Right in there is also a low area on both sides of the road, so it's very hard to get the water to go very far.
Well,
But we replaced those covers last year down that road.
Yeah, but what happened was you had a 16-inch culvert where she's talking about the water coming through under her property, under the road. You had a 16-inch, which you got an 18-inch now. You replaced it about 2 months ago with an 18-inch culvert. About a quarter mile down the road is IP property, International Paper Mill. You got 4 64-inch culverts at that spot. Now, how could that be? You gotta have 4 64-inch culverts to drain one section, and the next section coming under her property is basically the same drainage, and you got a 18-inch culvert. How can that be? Explain that to me.
That's an engineering question, not ours. They design it, how they do it, I don't know. We got a new engineer, maybe he could fix it.
I don't either.
I'd like to,
Blind man can see that won't work.
I'd like to make a comment, if I could.
No, go ahead.
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman. So, Ms. Norris, it was the office reached out to you at my request. It was not at the parish engineer's request, because I wanted to come and meet with you with our, the newer parish engineer to see what the issues were. I did not call you back that second day because there are days that I get so inundated, I can't get to all my phone calls. So that's my fault. But at some point, Mr. Reister and I will come out there. We've actually have come out and driven George Small, so he's kind of familiar with it. But I would like to meet with you to find out exactly where your property line is, because I don't know where your property line is out there or what the issues are. So I'm new here. I've been here a little less than 2 years. I'm trying to address a lot of these issues, so I can promise you I will try to do what I can.
Okay, well, I live here in Mansfield, and you can call me, and then I'll get with him. He lives in that area, and we'll meet with you.
Okay.
I'm glad to.
I'll be going out with him as well. I want you to get with me after the meeting, get your phone number and everything, so we can, so we can set up and go look at everything.
And I want your phone number.
Okay, you already got it.
Well, I don't know what that one is. I want it again.
All right.
Like you say, I live on George Small Road, and I see just about everything coming back and forth.
Okay.
It was either April and May or May and June, I think it was May and June. I saw y'all truck pass with the track hoe on it, behind it on a trailer. In about an hour and a half, I decided I'd go down there because I thought they was putting in bigger coal where she needed them at on her property. So I rode down there, and there was 2 guys in the truck, and both of them, hope I ain't getting nobody in trouble, but I gotta tell it like I saw it. Both guys was sitting in the truck asleep, and it was 4 hours.
I would love to have those dates exactly, and I'll take care of that for you.
I don't have the exact date because I didn't write them down, but it was early in each month. It was May or in June or April and May. Second time, same thing. I saw them pass. I gave about 2 hours. I went down there. They both. This time, one was in the truck sleeping, the other one's in the track hole, which was still on the trailer. I guess one snored too much. But it's the truth.
Okay,
They're
but
not
we're gonna,
doing the
like I said,
job.
we're gonna get down there, we're gonna take a look
Y'all
at
have
it.
a superintendent to drive up and down the road and make sure these jobs are getting done? I
We
worked
do,
in the,
we do, but,
he probably sleeps too. Huh?
no. We shouldn't. We kind of trust our employees to do their job. We kind of trust them to do their job. We shouldn't have, we got to go up and around seeing if somebody working or sleeping, and we don't need them working for us.
Well, I understand that.
So, but I think all of our trucks have tracking devices on it. And if a truck is sitting too still, too long, somebody's noticed it, or should. But that's not gonna be an issue. That's not even an issue. And our superintendent, hopefully they got other jobs should be doing, rather than going out seeing is anybody working, or what are they doing? And if they're not working or doing it, it'll show up. It shows up.
Yeah, all our vehicles are geo-tabbed. We track every one of them, so if someone's sitting there, and I myself drive out to these projects every week, and I'm not saying I can confirm, I can neither confirm nor deny what happened out there, because I wasn't there, but I'm not, that happens from time to time, but that's why I go to these jobs, you know.
Hopefully we'll get it straight. And, we got two problems on Red Lick Road.
If you don't mind, could we get, when I get with you, would you show me that? Would you show me that then? Because we are coming out, I mean, I'm coming out and talking.
out?
Right, I'm coming out
Glad
and talk
to
to you.
show you.
And take, okay.
We can count on it. We're gonna get better roads.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people in here
So-
hearing this.
There was a lot of people here last time, heard you, dude.
It didn't happen.
But I didn't tell you that last time.
So
Gotcha.
we're gonna get better roads soon.
Well, as soon as we can. I'm coming out to check with him sometime next week, next week, and we'll go from there.
Well, we would be glad to see our money works.
Yeah.
Thank you
ma'am.
very much.
Thank y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
Road item, authorize the president to sign a change order number 2 in the amount of $9,262.99 for drainage improvement on Powell Road.
Mr. Rowe, could I comment on this?
Yeah.
Before y'all make a motion? That amount is, that was an error on our part. That amount is supposed to be $18,708.44. That's what's on the change order that was sent to all of you. So if you would put in your motion.
18,000 what?
$18,708.44. Trying to
Okay, the new
combine.
number is 18,708.44. Change order number 2 for Powell Road.
This work's already been done, right?
Yes, sir.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Arnell,
I'm not on the committee.
I'll second.
second by Mr. Jimmy Holmes. Any discussion? Number one, why did the price double?
Yeah, I was curious that.
I'm going to defer to our parish engineer to answer the specific questions on this for y'all.
Not after the last two got up here, we ain't.
Is he here?
Yeah,
Oh,
Michael.
the new
Michael.
engineer,
Yeah,
okay,
Michael's
come
going
on
to.
up, Michael. I thought we were gonna get Steve Brown again.
The reason the price went up, we added some additional work to it. It's not just, at the last meeting, y'all addressed the issue with the utility work. This has the utility work plus some additional items that has been added to the change order. Trying to bring y'all as few change orders as possible, so we added lumped in some other items. We have some drainage issues that we addressed out there, as well as the utility issues. And the drainage occurred primarily due to, the drainage changes occurred primarily due to just the time period that we had between the design of the project and the construction, as well as working with some of the adjacent landowners throughout the construction project that had the outfall of the water. We tried to appease as many of the landowners as we could to make sure we were directing the water to where it benefited us as well as those landowners. But that's why you saw the increase in price, though. We have the additional culverts, the additional dirt work.
Okay, thank you. Any question from Michael?
Is this all on parish property or all of this work?
All of this is addressed in this change order, yes. We will have some outfalls that we're dressing up some dirt work that will be taken under a drainage servitude. But all of this work that's addressed in this change order is on parish property.
You almost through with this project?
Yes.
I hope so.
We just need some rain to grow some grass, and we'll be just about done.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not on your committee, but if somebody would be nice enough on your committee to make an alternate motion to debit my ARPA funds for this change order, then I'll vote in favor of that and grant that at the next meeting when I can vote.
Okay, Arnell, you gonna make an alternate motion, is this ARPA money?
Yeah, I make a motion to, Mr. Kennington use my ARPA money on this particular project.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Jimmy Holmes. Any discussion on that?
I'll get with you, Miss Lily. Mr. Phillip had to spread it thin.
Mr. Phillip was asleep. Alternate motion.
Thank you, Arnell.
Thank you.
Same people, Mr. Holmes seconded.
Huh?
Yes.
Jimmy Holmes seconded.
That'll be the last one, Mr. Reister, correct?
Sir, unfortunately, most likely not.
Well, you wait till after January before you bring that next one.
Please vote now. Motion passes. Authorize the president to sign a corporate endeavor agreement with the village of South Mansfield for road and drainage improvement on Kyle Porter Road, money approved in the budget.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Arnell Jones,
Second.
second by Mr. Keith Parker. Any discussion?
That, we're doing improvements on Kyle Porter in addition to the next item down here, number 5. We're spending money to do Kyle Porter Road.
Right, this is for the money that's in the budget for Kyle Porter. The advertisement and the acceptance of it, that is part of it tonight.
So the,
3 and 4, 5 are all.
Yeah, 3 and 5 are tied together, yes,
Are
sir.
together.
Yes, sir.
and the money has already been,
Well, y'all have approved so much, but the bid came in higher. That's item 5. You're gonna have to amend the budget to add some more money for the 4 projects, but.
okay, for these roads here, okay.
But the corporate endeavor agreement with South
The
Mansfield
CEA is
is
simply
something
getting permission
extra.
to do the work
Okay.
for the
yes.
jury in
Good.
their jurisdiction.
Now
Because part of the part of Kyle Porter is in South
you're-
Mansfield.
South Mansfield.
Right.
And some of the oil company and logging company have donated money to this
Yes, sir.
project.
Good. To help repair the road,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Motion passing. Approve the roads for capital outlay grant, continue with a 5-year road plan.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Parker,
Second.
second by Mr. Jimmy Holmes. Any discussion?
I have, Mr. Chairman, on page 25, Bethel Road is listed as 1C, that's 1B.
Will you make those corrections, Ms. Jody?
Did you see where I'm talking about on page 25 up there? District, your district?
Yes, we can make that, we can correct that.
All right.
Now, this is, we have to apply for
I know.
money with the state. Again, we have the same roads that we applied for last year.
I know.
And then the second 2 pages on there has a list of all the roads that we gave y'all, the $127 million worth. So now I'm asking the jurors to pick an additional road or 2 because this needs to continue. Every year, we need to be adding projects as projects are finished. So if you look at those 2 spreadsheets that each of y'all have, everything that's highlighted is are roads that have been identified on the initial 5-year plan that was sent last year. If y'all could pick either 1 or 2 roads, probably about $2 million worth of roads, we're gonna leave that to y'all to pick that, so we can add this to our application to the state for the capital outlay request.
Mr. Chairman, I got
Yes.
one more question. When is the application due?
It's due November 1st, so that's why we're, again, getting ahead of the game on this.
Mr. Chairman, I'd
Yes.
like to do a pitch for 1B because there hasn't been any roads in about 12 or 15 years in that district. I think Marshall is like, been 10 years, and there's several other roads in other jurisdictions that have been done, but I wish I would consider Mr. Parker and myself because, you know, we,
Okay.
Is that a state road?
no, sir.
Was, is that a state road?
Which road are you talking about?
Bethel's over the, it's over the money. We
Now,
can do part.
if you pick Bethel Road, that particular one, that's $4.8 million.
I see that.
So, I mean, we can do that. I just,
I'm not
want that to
picking
be the
it.
jury to make
committee
that
is over
decision.
there, but I'm just requesting we get some roads on the other side of the parish. You know, that we've voted and done a lot to different roads in different
Yeah, well,
places.
We gotta get something on this side too.
Well, I understand,
We
yeah.
have people coming up requesting them for us, and they keep coming up.
Yeah.
And so we
yeah.
gotta do, give them something.
Okay.
Matter of fact, Red Lick's on here.
Red Lick's on there?
Y'all battle that out, but y'all consider our side too, okay?
I always consider local sport.
You wouldn't?
Red Lick is 3.4 million total, so that.
No, those
I mean,
are not
that
in
could be one.
town, Mr. Ernell.
Okay.
None of those roads. Those are parish roads.
Red Lick is how much?
3.4 million, that's the OPC on that one. And that's what we would put on the application.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Phillip, on Ranchette, with my remaining funds that I didn't spend tonight, we're gonna overlay that, correct? So I noticed that that's also on this list for overlay. Does that mean that we can take it off this list and replace it with something else?
Do what you wanna do, I mean, you can take it off.
Well, Mr. Norton, I'll get, before the next meeting, I'll get with the new incoming juror and see what road he thinks ought to, and maybe we can replace this since I'm taking care of this one, and it'll be off this list.
Okay. Yes,
I'll
sir.
just substitute another road in our district.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, one more thing. Mr. Norton, would you turn around and explain to the general public what this is? A lot of people don't really know what we're doing here. And
So the
give them some complete clarification.
Yes, the capital outlay program is a program that that we are allowed to apply for money through the state from them in order to get money, basically paid for the tax money that we get from, when you go to the gas pump, you pay taxes at the gas pump, right? Well, the state allots so much of that, and with the help of our Representative Bagley helped us get this last year. We're going to put a request to them, and we're doing this because we haven't done it in the past 20 years to this amount. We've had small little amounts given to us, but this is specifically the state funding projects for the parish and not for the state. The state gets money for their roads in our parish, but this is money the state's going to give us either through what they call cash, P1 money, and then or they give us a portion of it in P5 money, which is money they promised to give us in later years. That's why you have to continue. You have to keep filling out these applications, and our grant person does this for us, and he runs with this. There's a lot of paperwork involved, but that's essentially what it is. The state's going to give us the money back that y'all have been spending here in the parish at the gas pump, essentially.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Y'all, which road would y'all like to add?
We gotta do that now? I thought we would have time to kinda.
Good look.
I mean, you can.
discuss our-
I want to add Red Bluff from 175 to 49.
I mean, you can. Let's see.
See, gravel points on this, but it's not inked in.
What on there?
Gravel point cut off. Is that yours?
Yeah.
You can keep the motion current, and y'all study these roads, and when you come back at the regular meeting, y'all can give us direction at that time so we can have the application begun.
Okay.
Very please vote now.
I'd like y'all to add Spates Road on there. That list.
It's on here.
Is it? I missed it.
Yeah.
Texas Line Development.
Okay.
Yeah,
Spates is on there.
Oh, I thought that we were picking some that weren't highlighted out of that list.
Yeah, you want to pick ones that are not highlighted. The ones that are
Spates Road is
highlighted are
not highlighted.
already in the
Yeah,
application.
Yeah, Spates
Red Lick
Road.
is on here.
But if you want to think about it, y'all can just make the motion as approve the capital outlay grant, and then at the next meeting, give us the road that y'all want us to, or roads you want us to add to the application.
Okay.
That way we can start that process early.
Motion passes. Okay, Wardlow bid to regional construction for road improvements on Cody Drive, Hannah Tucker Road, Jesse Latin, Cal Porter, and amend the road budget in the amount of $610,000.
I'll make a motion.
So moved by Mr. Holmes,
Second.
second by Mr. Darnell Jones. Any discussion?
I have a question. Where's the 610,000 coming from?
Have to come out of the road fund.
Does the road fund have 610 spare $1,000?
Yes,
That's all
sir.
you have to
Yes.
tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, that's where it come from, Liddy?
Yes, sir, it's gonna come from the road budget fund. Right now, we have about 1.5 in surplus from sales tax. About 300,000 of that has been designated for Crook Road. So now taking this, we'll have roughly about 400,000 to work with right now with the current surplus that we have.
Okay, thank you. Please vote now. Motion passes. Item 6, authorize the president to sign a CEA with the town of Logansport for road repairs on Ashton Street and Lover Lane. ARC money.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Keith Parker,
Second.
second by Mr. Jimmy Holmes. Any discussion? Thank you. One comment before I adjourn. Got a call today, and they have released the site negotiation for the I-69 corridor. So they will be coming through there, working on the site to tie it in from I-49 to the port. Still a few years off, but at least they're making progress. Motion to adjourn? So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Buildings and properties.
Building Properties Committee be called to orders. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Any guests and public comment? Building and Properties items. Number 1, authorize the DeSoto Parish Tourism Commission to place signage on the courthouse grounds.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Parker. Mr. Parker, second by Mr. Kennedy. Any discussion?
What type of sign, does it?
Yeah, it's what was in there. They're promoting, the Tourism Commission is promoting DeSoto Parish. And they have different sites and things that they're promoting. Any more discussion? Please vote now. Motion carries. Item 2, authorize the jury to purchase partition, chairs, tables to use at the 4-H building.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kennedy,
Second for discussion.
second Mr. Fuller. Discussion?
What are the prices? I mean, how many?
Well, I can't tell you off.
Well, y'all don't have prices in there because this was, Ms. Burrell asked us to put this on the agenda and get some numbers, and I got some numbers, not for the partitions, but for just tables and chairs. If we were to purchase tables and chairs, right now, the 4-H, they rent approximately 330 chairs, and approximately 60 tables are available to rent, and they rent all that for $250 per event. If we purchase tables in lieu of them renting those, just for the tables and chairs, it's gonna cost approximately $32,150 to replace all that equipment. So, and then you'll have the issue of where you're gonna store all this as well, because 4-H currently stores all their stuff out there right now. The partitions will be an additional cost, and I'm still trying to get some prices on that as well.
Well,
Question.
Yes, sir.
The 4-H already has tables and chairs,
Yes, sir.
and the 4-H rents them to the people who use the building.
That is correct.
And Miss Jerry wants us to buy tables and chairs so people don't have to rent them from the 4-H.
That's my understanding.
Okay. Thanks for that clarity, yeah. Any more discussion?
Got a question.
Yeah.
It's my understanding, a lot of the times that this 4-H building is rented, it's to private individuals for weddings, birthdays, family reunions, and that sort of stuff. The complaint that Ms. Burrell has brought up is about the straw, the smell of manure, and the fact that there's pens in there where they keep the livestock. In the research that I've done on this, everything that pertains to this building, the 4-H is mentioned first. The building was built and dedicated for 4-H use. But it's also in there for other groups to use. But the 4-H is the primary reason that building is there. So if you want to have a wedding or a family reunion and the smell of manure and seeing straw and the pens upset you, I think there's 2 event centers in Mansfield. And I know of one in Stonewall and one over on the Nash Road. There's other event centers. If they find that that particular building out here that was designed and built for 4-H, if it's offensive to them, they should take their event to another event center.
Please vote.
I feel that, of course, most everybody knows how I feel about this. I don't think we should be in the event center business. And I feel like personally we should get out of that, quit leasing it out or renting it out to other people for this kind of thing. And that includes the sheriff and everybody. You know, it's for 4-H, leave it there for 4-H, and we won't be running into all these kind of problems. If we're gonna continue to rent it, we need to go up on the price. We're giving it to them for nothing.
Mr. Chair, I think in lieu of Mrs. Burrell concerned with the chairs, now we rent everyone rent the building from us, right? But they turn around and rent the chairs from 4-H. And I think she want to take that portion out of it. I mean, if you're gonna rent the building from, it seems like chairs ought to go with the building.
I can understand that theory
Yeah.
too.
I pay them for something that, I mean, we should have our own chairs.
Any more discussion? Please vote.
So are we taking, what do we vote on this, or taking that out as he just mentioned?
Well, we're voting on
Voting on the
authorizing the jury to purchase partitions,
Tables and chairs.
tables, chairs, and to use that 4-H building.
Can I ask a question for you? Who owns the chairs and tables?
4-H.
4-H,
The 4-H's or the police jury?
4-H.
4-H.
4-H's? Okay.
Where are these chairs and tables gonna be stored, if we buy them and put them out there?
There's no place left.
That's what I'm thinking myself. I mean, where are we gonna put all this equipment? You know, it's, really, we shouldn't be doing this.
I agree with you, Mr. Holmes, that the police jury should get out of this, of having anything to do with the renting of that building, and all money made from the renting should go strictly to the 4-H, and us not have anything to do with it.
I agree. If it's gonna be rented out, that's the way it ought to be done. Where does our money go now that we collect for rent?
Mr. Fuller?
This
Goes in the
is a
general
public parish building.
Goes in general business.
Yes.
So, you know, you can't operate it both ways. You can't have your pie and eat it
It
too.
was dedicated to
It's
the 4-H.
dedicated to the
It's dedicated,
4-H.
but the parish money pays for, taxpayers pay for that.
Well,
We gotta consider that too.
Every parent that's got a kid in the 4-H.
I'm just saying we have to
they
consider
pay
that part of
taxes
it too,
just
so
like
it's
all the
not,
rest of it.
it's like the way it's going is two different things, two different people own it. The parish owns it.
The parish owns it and upkeeps
And
it,
the
which is what
the
the
4-H
parish
they
should do,
use is-
continue to
is
upkeep it.
dedicated for them,
It
but
was
just not
for
them
the
owning it.
4-H, it was built for
We
the
own the
4-H.
libraries, and look what takes place in them.
One
That's
person
right.
at a time,
We
please.
upkeep
I'm
them,
just saying.
don't we?
We upkeep the libraries.
And they have a tax.
One person at a time, please.
Yes, sir. Sorry, Mr. Mitchell.
I'm through,
You got any?
I'm through, I'm through.
You through, Mr. Keith? Jimmy, you through? You through?
Yeah.
Mr. Ross.
Mr. Mitchell.
Okay.
Mr. Ross.
Mr. Mitchell, I got one thing to say. Initially, what I think what brought this thing on, the 4-H'ers they rented tables and chairs. They had an event, somebody was standing on the chairs and dancing on the tables and whatnot. So I think that's how this came about. It was more of they thought it was a safety issue.
Please vote.
Hang on there.
Who waiting on you?
Mr. Fuller,
Trying to see. I'm gonna say, frick.
Okay, motion fails. Item 3, discuss acquiring the media center from the school board. I think Ms. Burrell put that on there, so I'd entertain a motion to defer since she's not here. I don't know what she was thinking.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Parker,
Second.
second by Mr. Kyle Kennington. Any more
want to defer
discussion?
to the regular meeting?
Sure.
For the next committee.
What was the motion to do?
Yeah.
No, committee.
Yes.
Yeah.
The next committee meeting in October?
Any more discussion on
Yes.
that? Yes, sir.
Can I say something about that building? I just want to make y'all aware of it.
Yes, sir.
The city approached the school board about 6 months ago about that building. So
Okay.
We've been talking about that, just for y'all information.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't, Ms. Burrell, Ms. Jones just put it on there. I don't have any information. Parker, okay. You got the motion to defer on the board?
Second it?
To
I did.
committee meeting? Motion passes. Number 4, authorize the president to sign an agreement with Johnson Controls Fire Protection LP for 3 years. Service solutions for fire sprinkler inspection at various locations.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Fuller,
Second.
by Mr. Holmes, by Mr. Kenny. Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? It's just, hearing none. Vote, please.
Just do a roll call vote, please. Darnell Jones,
Aye.
Richard Fuller,
Call vote.
I say yes.
Kyle Kennington.
Aye.
Keith Parker. Mr. Mitchell.
Aye. Item 5, authorize the president to sign the 2023-2024 LeGap grant application for improvements at the David B. Means 4-H building.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kyle,
Second.
second by Mr. Fuller. Any more discussion?
You know what these improvements are?
Yes, sir. We're gonna be targeting, fixing the insulation issues they have out there. They have a lot of crumbling the insulation's literally falling off the
Falling
walls,
down.
so.
Yeah, I advised all the jurors, I was out there, a couple of weeks ago to go take a look at that building. We got a great group of kids going out there, but it needs some work.
Who's left? Oh, never mind.
Motion carries. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
By Mr. Kyle, second by Mr. Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Policies and Procedures Committee call to order. Any call for additions or deletions? Any guest or public comments? Item number 1, to discuss and adopt a policy that all parish-owned vehicles carry fire extinguishers at all times.
Make a motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Holmes.
Second.
Second by Ms. Trina. I put this on the agenda after seeing, obviously, everybody knows the fire issues we have going on. And my job makes me drive a whole lot. And I've seen 2 trailer wheel bearings catch on fire on the side of the road. I saw one guy throw a cigarette butt out, and the truck in front of me, an oil field worker, he stopped, backed up, got his fire extinguisher out and put the little 2-foot by 2-foot fire out. And I called Mr. Norton, and I believe we do have some vehicles that already carry fire extinguishers, but we have so many parish vehicles and they're roaming the parish. I called the sheriff's office. They all have fire extinguishers in their patrol cars. I just thought what a cheap, not that anything's cheap, but a cheap way that could prevent something major from happening, especially if we, you know, come around this drought again. That's why it's on the agenda. Any questions? Yes, sir.
How many extinguishers are we talking about? How often do they have to be inspected? And do the drivers of our vehicles have to be trained in the use of a fire extinguisher? I think that's all some requirements for this to take place.
So the extinguishers, Mr. Baker may correct me, but I know ones in commercial buildings have to be inspected every 2 years, correct?
Every year, probably
Every year? I think you can get a 2-year tag. Is it every year, Mr.
Every
Van
year.
Zant?
Yeah.
Is it every year, Mr. Van Zant? I thought we used to have 2-year tags in the bank, but we may not. But you do not have to be trained to have an extinguisher.
But
Not-
you should be.
You should be how to use it, but
Yeah,
it's real simple. I mean,
real
little
simple.
kids can do it. Pull a pin and point the trigger. And I'm not trying to make firefighters out of the police jury employees.
But it-
I just
Make
think if
First
somebody's,
responders out of them.
well, if we're serving the public and that's what we're here for, and that's who pays us to be here, and if we're driving down the road and see a car on fire or see a wheel bearing on fire, we ought to try to help them.
I think they have Samaritan laws about that.
Have some what now?
Don't they have like some good Samaritan laws about that?
I don't know. I don't. And I think as far as number of vehicles, if I remember right, don't we have like 53 or 35?
Yes, sir, it's around 50, 51, I think 51 now. I've reduced this fleet too.
Sir? Mr. Baker?
I thought we probably had over 100.
Well, the last list we got, I thought it was 53. He says it's 51, so we just saved 2. And if y'all would rather wait and adopt this and put it in place after the budget for next year, so we don't incur expenses before the next budget, I'm good with that too. It doesn't matter to me. I just thought it'd be good service to the parish. Any other questions? All right, please vote. Motion carried. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
We got a motion. We got a second? Second. We are adjourned.
Thank y'all for coming out. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Wow. That's what I thought it'd be.